What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. You're lovely. Hope everybody's staying safe out there in these crazy Florida times with this crazy Florida weather right now. Got back. Busy day today. Boots on the ground. Pat Riley spoke to the media today. Handsome devil, the Godfather, swaggering in there and talking some things he had to keep under wraps. You know, a lot of these people are out there. I see a lot of the fans are all upset. They're like, oh, why can't he name Bradley Beal? Why can't he get into the deets of why they didn't go after Bradley Beal? Why? And I get it. Like, you want answers. Pat doesn't speak that much. You know, Pat speaks, about once a year. And, I honestly think that it's such a fun thing because, Pat Riley is such a force on the microphone and has such a presence. Like, but he's as savvy as they come when it's like, I either want to say nothing or I'm bringing this up and you can take it for how you want to take it. And let's just roll with it and see where we go. Because it was like, almost a tongue-in-cheek thing. Like, I think Pat Riley, like, if there were no tampering rules, I think Pat Riley would like to talk whales. I think he would. He was even like joking about it. He's like, you guys are trying to get me in trouble. Like, I think he wants to openly talk about all this stuff and get to it, but you can't. Them's the rules. People get sensitive. People got mad because he got Kyle Lowry on a jumping the gun charge. Everybody was so upset that they went in there and got low dog, and the Mavericks couldn't get a pitch in there as if they had a chance. So, it is one of those things where you got to kind of read between the tea leaves. You got to see why is he bringing this up? And sometimes we go over analyzing on it. I will say though, for people that we got nothing out of this today, I think that's for the unsophisticated miscreants. I felt like Pat Riley when Pat Riley is like underselling, I feel like you got to be like the antenna's got to go. That's where you got to look at things and you got to be like, understand. No, like this was a year, no fancy orcas, no fancy harpoons, no fancy soliloquies. Did have a lot of baseball references today, which makes me wonder if he's like catching Marlins fever. He's just a big fan of Luis Ariz. I don't know. But we'll get to that cut in just a second. But out of this with Pat Riley, I mean, like started off today, a lot of reminiscing. It does feel like the Pat Riley reminiscing gets longer and longer and longer as the years go by. Like he wants to tell the full story of the organization and where they plan to go and what they have been through to get to this point because it all feels very connected to him, which is one of the beauties of having this organization be together for so long and believe in that continuity and all that stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff swirling around right now, and a lot of the fans are impatient. I get some of the impatience. I think it's just because, there was a lot of the same frustrations last year with the idea of them running it back and going in that direction. I honestly feel there was more of an honesty towards that last year. Remember the old, I run it back with my wife every week. Like, there was more of an openness to that last year just because I think that they looked upon all the injuries and really did feel like if they did, even with the maybe pursuits of Donovan Mitchell and Kevin Durant or the hopeful pursuits, I do feel like they were able to talk themselves into some of these, some things breaking better their way. And in some ways they did. I mean, especially with a more healthy Kyle Lowry, a more developed Caleb Martin, a steadier, more reliable Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, which was probably the only piece of business that really wasn't asked about today, about their future. But, it was a lot of vagueness on the floor with all this stuff. But I do think that he was asked about the idea of running it back today. And he just had he said a lot of things. And I think that, it was one of these where, like, if you could read into what he's saying here, and feel like for fans who just heard the term run it back and you feel like you're just taking that at face value, I think you're just being a little bit simplistic on there. I think it's just one of these things where like this man is at the poker table right now and doesn't want to show his hands. And that's what's going on with that. So he was asked about it and then, said that they're not taking a wrecking ball to it. Now, I believe he's quoting Bruce Springsteen. I don't think that Pat Riley's listening to Miley Cyrus, but you be the judge.
Well, okay, here I go. We're not going to take a wrecking ball to this thing. only some of us know what I'm talking about. Good times come, good times go. Hard times come, hard times go. We're not going to take a wrecking ball to a good team that had some real adversity this year that I felt built some strength. We have a good team, and probably a great team. And we wouldn't have gotten as far as we have, and there's no caveat in any of that, if you weren't a great team. And so running it back, yes, doing something that could help you with that last step, yes, if it's a possibility and if there's an opportunity without setting you back, while you're moving forward. It's just onward with us. It's onward. What's next? And so we just finished, and I'm diving deep into a draft that we have to get ready for on a Thursday night, and then free agency next week. So I don't have that urge, Tim. Persistence and perseverance has been something that's been part of my life forever, and just has been. And patience is the last thing that came with it. And so we're going to show some patience here instead of react without knowing what the consequences could be in doing something.
And I think that's one of the things that's interesting about this with Pat is like, there was a level of, hey, we're still working out this whole new collective bargaining agreement. We are still working out what some of the consequences are of going and acquiring people. I think some of the whole Bradley Beal thing did have to do with that Miami thought that they could think bigger, especially when, you have a situation with him, like, will that put us over the top? Is he that dude who can put you over the top? When you don't have, can he go be that go-to guy? He's never really been that on an important team. He's been that on a middling team. He's been that on a team that has been okay. He's missed a lot of games, and he makes a lot of money. And a guy who makes comparable money makes a little bit more, but is an alpha dog, an A1 dog when it comes to these types of moves is Damian Lillard. And I don't know what's going to happen with that over the next few days. That's going to be an interesting thing. I think that's quite obviously the Heat's top choice. I think even today with the craziness of Portland throwing out there that they're going to go try and trade for Bam Adebayo. I mean, I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I was like, you're going to what? You're going to go trade for Bam Adebayo? Like, that's the craziest thing it's one of the craziest things I've seen out there is that Portland is going to try and put together a captivating package for Bam. And so it's like, so let me get this straight. You guys are going to go out and you're going to offer Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, the number 3 pick, and the Heat are just going to say, yeah, we'll go young. That's us. We're a team that was 3 wins away from an NBA championship, has been to the Eastern Conference Finals with Bam Adebayo 3 out of the last 4 years. Sure, sign us up. I found it hilarious that was even a thing that was out there. This was a clip that I think that made a lot of people nutty with Pat, and it was because he was asked by Ira just the idea of like, look, there's been big moves out there, whatever you've been around. Do you think it basically to the idea, does it take a huge move that you guys think you're going to do, or subtle moves enough? And Pat, starts off and he goes, oh, subtle moves are enough, but then like goes into this whole thing about like he talks about like there's a give and a take. He was talking today about like there's an addition by subtraction. Is there an addition by subtraction if you bring somebody in? And when you take those home run cuts, is there a negative effect towards that with the guys that you lose or whatever the ramifications are with that? But then he's like, but we've hit big and we'll hit, we plan on doing it again. So like, he really was like ping-ponging all over the place to give anybody like no idea with what they're actually feeling right now. It was a masterful job by Pat.
There are times here it's time for the big move. You planned for years for the big 3. At other times, Jimmy happened. You saw that coming to a degree with his going through several teams. This roster at this moment, when you look at it, there are big names apparently available. There already was one already available. In your view, does this team need to move big like you did during the Jimmy time, honestly based on the contract during the Kyle time and previously, or will subtle moves be enough to leave you content this offseason?
Subtle moves will be enough. If they're the right moves, will be enough during this offseason. Hitting the home run, as I said, it's addition by subtraction. And so you can go out. We've done this. We played this game for 27 years, and some of them we hit big, and I plan on hitting big again. But I'm not just swinging for the fences right now because it could be reckless, a little bit reckless, and after this year, I feel very good about where we are. But also, I agree with you. We need to improve. I mean, you take a look at all the rosters in the league, and they have the same issues that everybody else has when it comes to all these draconian rules that are coming in financially. So, players might be more readily available than they've ever been because of that, as we can see. But you're trying to get me to talk about something that I can't, Ira. So I'm going to talk to you about Garfield and Odie and the crew. I'll trade for Garfield.
I tap out.
I know. Okay, I'm sorry.
I just love the idea of Ira Winderman being there for 30 years, and it's just like, I give up, Pat. Like honestly, more than 35 years Ira's been covering the team, been covering Pat for 27, and he's just like, I don't know. And the Garfield thing he was referring to, I guess he still has trouble sleeping. He likes watching Garfield. I don't know if that was with his grandson or not, but he likes who doesn't love Garfield? Loves lasagna, hates Mondays. What's not to love about Garfield? Although I know what Pat does not like Fat Cat players. That's the truth. So in a little way, a little ironic that could be his favorite cartoon. But yeah, man, like the idea that he's out here and he's talking about. He didn't take off the table that they're going to take a home run swing at this. I think that the Heat but they're going to take the right swing. Like I basically got from that is that the Heat are in this to take a big hack at something that really matters. And I think in a way, Pat did let on today that he felt like, hey, they got through some tumultuous stuff in the regular season and that I think even surprised themselves with how far they were able to get. But as you can hear, he's like, yeah, I do think that we need improvement. In a way, they kind of got away with it last year. They did. I mean, they got through a tough regular season with the 7th best record in the Eastern Conference, 3 minutes away from a play, and we know the story. I mean, we don't have to rehash all of it. And so you're at this spot where it's like, okay, well, what can they do to bring a little bit more consistency, to bring a little bit more assuredness that they have an extra level to go to? Because I think that by the time that they got to that finals, and look, credit to Denver, who did a fantastic job, but even Pat was mentioning today, like I still thought we could have won that series, which of course that's what the Godfather is going to say. He's gonna think about what are the moments that we could have turned things, and I just really felt for the Heat like. The difference between them and Denver in this series was that Denver always felt like they had the answer. They had the extra play. They made the right play. They always would able to stop a run. They could always keep a run going a little bit more. Well, Miami, that was typically their move. And especially their superpower was doing that in the fourth quarter of these playoff games. And they just couldn't do it against Denver. It was just such a challenge. It was such a challenge. And so what everybody's looking for in this is the idea of, all right, who is going to be that guy that can help them get to the next level of that? Now, the one interesting thing that came from a player mention on the team, because I'll save some of the stuff that he had about Jimmy on another video, because Jimmy had some stuff to say on the team this year, which was pretty fascinating, but it was on Tyler. Tyler probably got like the most, he was like, out of everybody, usually like here's the thing that's interesting about this particular Riley press conference. I really felt like, first of all, a lot of the regs asked questions today, which was cool. But I did feel like a lot of the questions were kind of redundant because everybody was kind of trying to find their way and fish their way to, are you guys going to make moves? Which I get it. But I find a lot of the times with these Pat Riley press conferences, the funny stuff is, well, what are the messages that he has for his team? And I guess when you have a team that is, 3 wins away from an NBA championship, maybe there's not that many question marks in the air. You know what you're getting from Bam Adebayo. You know how much harsher can he be on Kyle Lowry than it was last year. Jimmy, he had some interesting stuff on Jimmy, like I said. But nothing on Caleb, nothing on Max, nothing on Gabe. But he did get into Tyler. And Tyler, the thing that was interesting with Tyler is it was unsolicited. He was answering, I think, that Tim Reynolds question. I think he was in the midst of that. And just started really heaping the praise on Tyler Hero, which honestly, when I came into this, I didn't get a chance to get a question in today. But one of my questions was actually, it was kind of about this. It was asking about, what they missed with Tyler Hero in this playoffs, not getting a chance to see him. And he kind of brought up a lot of it on his own without being asked about Tyler Hero. And interesting stuff. So, here is what he had to say on Boy Wonder.
Tyler is, just an extraordinary scorer and fourth quarter player, big time shot maker. He's 23 years old. You got to watch it, with these guys. And last year he was out in the Eastern Conference Finals for almost 4 games with a groin, and this year he broke his hand. I'm a loose ball guy, ball on the floor, first guy to the ball. I'm going to caution him on his shooting hand, to go with his left hand or something. But, we missed him. People don't understand just how lethal he is in those moments. He gets bigger in the biggest of moments. He just does. We've seen it time and again, from the bubble to here. So, we've got 2 anchors in Bam and Tyler. Whatever your thoughts are about him, you say whatever you want. They can't guard. Yeah. How many people in this league, get singled out and say, okay, we're going to run a pick and roll, and we're going to switch, and we're going to bring Tyler up or Duncan up or Max up or Gabe up or whoever it was to create a mismatch, and that stuff. When you do the analytics on it, it's whatever happens. But he's a player, and you got to think twice about. I don't know how I got into Tyler on this, but just bring me back to the center here, Tim. But anyway, it's that's how I feel about this team. I feel about him and about our young guys. We have a good anchors, and obviously we got good veterans, and we're excited about that opportunity.
So it's hilarious on a few fronts. It's one, again, that was unsolicited. As you could hear him say, I don't even know how I got to Tyler. It's you see that little twinkle in his eye, oh, how did you get into Tyler, Pat? Why did you mention that he's a player, that he's only 23, that he gets bigger when the moments get bigger? When honestly, while I agree with that in the regular season, we haven't really seen that since the bubble with Tyler. And it was probably the one unanswered question from this year was, the biggest wild card I had going into this year, into this playoffs, was what is Tyler Hero going to bring to the Miami Heat? What is he going to be like? He admitted this basically, where Tyler was like, I knew whatever I did in the regular season didn't really matter. That's why this is so disheartening that I had this injury. And for Pat to just bring that up, it kind of raised eyebrows. I was like, oh. Now, I may be a cynic. Maybe people are like, come on, Tell. It's just some genuine praise. He loves his Kentucky guy, loves Boy Wonder. Maybe. But nobody's in more trade rumors than Tyler Hero. He is the best asset that they have, aside from Bam, who they're not going to trade, much to Portland's dismay. But, yeah, he went heavy on the Tyler Hero praise there, especially he was this is the thing that, I was he's kind of hamming it up here, where it was just oh, well, you can't guard. When have you ever known this organization to be on anybody? They can't guard. Who cares? It was almost I almost feel like it's one of the arguments I would make on the show with Leroy, where it's just guarding. Who needs it? That's what Pat Riley was basically saying there with Tyler Hero. So certainly piqued my attention. with this whole thing. But yeah, man, Pat Riley. For people who said you got nothing out of this press conference, I thought there was some juicy stuff, and got some more deets that I want to dive into. But those were the first things that popped out from the Godfather's State of the Franchise address.